Well, the next time you take a swat at a pesky flying insect, you might want to take a little closer look. A new generation of bug-sized robots is being developed by the military, and soon enough, they'll be in the private sector too. Now, part of the motivation for this cutting-edge research is the success of the Predator UAV, or unmanned aerial vehicle. Predator is based on what's called a battle lab at the Indian Springs Air Base north of town here. George Knapp of the I-Team found out that there are all sorts of high-tech gizmos already in the works out there.
On the combat apps, that's the shooter. That's this guy.
When Colonel Larry Felder worked at the Pentagon back in the 90s, he was part of an elite team that forecast the potential of UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. The team also created the concept of battle labs, that is, specialized think tanks that focus on particular military needs. Little did Felder know that years later, he'd be the commander of a battle lab. In fact, the UAV Battle Lab at Indian Springs, which is the nerve center of a cutting-edge technology that's exploding in many directions. Indian Springs is the home of the best-known UAV, the Predator. It was Felder's team that came up with the idea of arming Predators with missiles. Other innovations allow operators based at Nellis to fly via satellite Predators over Iraq and Afghanistan and to daily take out the enemy. But this is only the beginning for UAVs.
UAVs will not replace manned aircraft because there's missions that, guess what, it just can't do. But whether they're good at it is what I call the dull, dirty, and dangerous.
For example, UAVs can now be linked to robots on the ground. Those robots can be sent into dangerous areas instead of sending troops. In the air, a new generation of Predator is on the way, bigger, more powerful. Colonel Felder says the Air Force is also developing an unmanned combat robot as big as a Stealth, and eventually entire fleets of intelligent, stealthy UAVs will take to the skies, talk to each other, and coordinate their attacks, no pilots required. Bigger UAVs are interesting, but it's the tiny ones that can blow your mind.
There's also a whole family of small UAVs that are evolving. At DARPA and some of our labs, they're exploring UAVs that are very, very tiny. I mean, I'm talking extremely tiny. I mean, insect size.
Some of those tiny contraptions might already be flying in Nevada. Citizen watchdog Chuck Clark thinks the security around the Area 51 military base has heightened recently because of robo-bugs.
It flies close to the ground, and it's probably the size of a model airplane or smaller, because we're talking stuff down to insect size.
According to published reports, one microbot in development will imitate the flying motion of dragonflies. NASA has said it's working on UAVs that are not only the same size as bees, but will even fly and navigate just like bees. Such robo-gadgets could be used to explore the harsh surface of Mars or other worlds and perform maintenance duties on the exteriors of spaceships during long missions. Closer to home, UAVs could eventually be used to patrol our borders or for homeland security.
What these provide is persistence. They have the capability to stare for a long time. And whether it's persistence over one friggin' building where you're just watching some guy that you want to take out or you want to follow to the nest, take the nest out, or whether it is persistence along a coastline where you're taking a look at what's coming in, what's going out.
You got to figure that law enforcement agencies will want their own UAVs at some point for criminal surveillance. And there will be commercial uses too. Already in Japan, something like the Predator has been adapted to work as a crop duster. The sky literally is the limit. Of course, the Battle Lab is focused only on military applications, and there's no shortage of ideas.
Right now we got about 13 initiatives. 11 are unclassified, and we got 2 in the classified realm.
Tell me all about it.
I can tell you about the 11.
Darn. George Knapp, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
Oh, well, he tried. A gigantic new hangar and headquarters is being built there at Indian Springs. A structure so big it's enough to accommodate a new generation of much larger UAVs, not to mention the smaller ones. Since the Air Force is putting millions of dollars into the project, it looks like UAVs are in Indian Springs to stay.